Hey guys, so we're going to try another shot at this here. Speaking of which, we're going to show how to make your enemies shoot at your player. So everything we learned on the last video where we were checking range and where the player might be in comparison to that actor, we're going to use that again. So I'm actually going to use the enemy follow that we created previously, or you might have called it enemy 1 or something like that. I want to make a copy of it. So I'll do Alt Option and drag it down because some of the code that I want is right here. I'm just not going to use accelerate toward. I don't really need that, and I'm not going to need these change attributes here. So that's Magda wrinkling something in the background. If you can't tell by how rude it is, that is Magda. I'm going to change this thing to orange just so we can tell the difference, and I'm going to change it to shooting enemy. Okay. So now we have a range of about 300, 300, and we'll leave it as is for now. And we're going to want to spawn something. So we're going to bring something into existence, and that's actually what we're going to be shooting across the way. So as soon as it's within 300, we're going to spawn, well, I could spawn anything. I could spawn a player, a wall, an enemy. I guess I could spawn more of this enemy if I wanted to. I could spawn more of the enemy follow. That actually might work, so let me try that. I'm going to leave that there. I'm going to extend the range out just a little bit. We've been going to 300. I'm going to do this at 600. And let's try that. All right, so I'm going to hit save. Preview. Oh, well, I didn't put them in the scene yet, right? So that's not going to work. Let's go back here. Shooting enemy right there. All right, here we go. We're moving, and it spawned a new enemy, which is just that same accelerate one that we had before. But we want this thing to just keep shooting at us, right? Yeah, we don't want it to just stop. We want it to keep going. So let's go back and let's fix that. All right. So I don't want it to shoot another enemy follow. You could use that. You could make kind of a homing missile or something like that with something that had the same setup as an enemy follow. We wouldn't necessarily want to have it within range, but we want to have it accelerate towards, so it could follow them around the area for a certain amount of time. So with our shooting enemy, what we need to do is we need to spawn something that will just shoot in a straight line. And to do that, we're going to have to make a few actors. Okay, so first off, we're going to make one actor. This one's going to be called enemy projectile. There we go. When I think something's going to hurt me, I think red, so we'll put red in there. And what I want to do is I'm going to have this. You can't apply motion to these on their own, so what we have to do is we're going to have to give it some motion right away. So what I want to have it do is I want to just give it a change attribute. So right away, actually we probably don't even have to do this. We could probably do it from in here, but to make it do it on its own, we're probably going to have change attribute in here. Motion, linear velocity, X. Now we want this one to shoot backwards. We want it to shoot back towards the player. So I'm going to set this for negative, let's say 400, so it'll catch him. Okay. And then we just have to specify, I want the enemy projectile to be smaller too. So let's make that thing like about 15 and 15. Now it looks like it's going to be pretty big there, but once it fires, you're going to see it's a lot smaller. And enemy follow looks good. Let's change the spawned actor to enemy projectile. All right. Now let's see what happens. We're going to hit save, preview. All right, our follow enemy's coming after us. Hey, this guy's shooting at me. He only shot one though. So we're going to have to do something about that. If we get out of the range and we come back, it'll shoot again. But I really want it to just keep shooting at me no matter what. Okay, so here's what I need to do. I need to have it constantly firing at me. So here's what I'm going to do, guys. In this side behaviors right here, I'm going to go down here and grab something called a timer. Okay, so the timer is pretty powerful in a lot of different ways. You just will make stuff happen every few seconds if you want it to, every 0.5 seconds if you want to. It just depends on how quickly you want it to happen. You can have it happen after a certain amount of time occurs, which can be really helpful if you want to delay something just a little bit. you can have it go for a certain amount of time. So 4 would be if you want this thing to keep shooting for 5 seconds, 60 seconds. Maybe you have some kind of bomb going off and you want to have a countdown of some sort. This could be used for that. But for this one, I want this to happen every 0.5 seconds, which actually seems not like it's not very long, but in game terms, it's going to feel like it's waiting forever. Let's see how this looks now. Hit save. All right, let's get down here, and this guy should start shooting at me. There we go. He's shooting at me. Now, the thing is that he's going to keep shooting at me in that direction the entire time, right? So I actually want him to shoot in the other direction when I'm on the other side. That just makes sense, right? So here's what we need to do. We're in range. So what we need to do is say, all right, we want this to happen. We're going to highlight this. We're going to hit create rule. It's going to wrap a rule around it. And we're just going to say attribute. And we're going to compare again, just like we did above. We're going to compare the player position of X. If it's greater, if the player position is greater than the position X, then which side should it be on? If our player is greater than the X position, it's going to be on the right, right? So we're good there. Now we can go right into the otherwise, and we can have it spawn to the other side. Now we have another issue here too, in that we don't have an actor that goes in the other direction. So I need to go in here, and I need to change enemy projectile. This is enemy projectile left. That one shoots to the left. And then we're going to have another one. I'm just going to do Alt and copy, bring this one over. This one is going to be right. We got to change that. And we're going to change this to positive 400. So now when we go into shooting enemy and we look at this, we should be able to select projectile to the right. So it'll shoot to the right. And so let's run through this code one more time. When it's within range, it'll do one of these two things. If it's to the left of the actual actor, to the left right here, so it's greater than the actor's X position, then we're going to shoot to the left. Okay? And actually, that's not really what I want it to do. And since I set it up this way, it's really easy to change. I actually want it this way. If the player's position is less than the position of our actor, we want it to shoot to the left. Otherwise, we want it to shoot to the right. So let's try this out, see how it goes. All right, our follow actor's coming after us. It's shooting at me. Ah, it's horrible. Ah, it's shooting at me the other direction now. Ah, I can't get away. It's so scary. All right, so then if you want to, you can always adjust the place where it's spawning from if you want to. Since this actor is 100, it's gonna, the middle of it's going to be 50 pixels in. So I'm going to set this for 60 in this direction. And I'm going to have it still fire from the middle as far as, up and down goes. And then in this one, I'm going to have it fire at 60. And let's just kind of see where it shows up whenever it starts shooting at us. Should be outside of it. There we go. So it's shooting outside of it, instead of looking like it just spawns in the middle of it and comes out. Which, if you want, that's okay. And there's actually a really cheap and easy way to do that if you forget, and you just set this for 0. Then you can have it and spawn in back of actor, and then it'll just look like it spawned in about the same place. So you're not going to see a whole lot of difference there. It's just spawning right in the middle behind the actor instead of right in front. Okay. So we'll work on some health conditions and things like that a little bit later, but for right now, anything you need to do as far as firing a projectile off or anything like that is done right here. One little bonus tip, and we're going to throw this in right now. We just learned about timers, and you don't necessarily want these things to stay on screen the entire time, especially if they've got animation. You can always add animation to any actor. It's always a good idea to add animation to your projectiles. So what I want to say is after, let's say after 3 seconds, maybe 2, you will destroy this actor. Okay, so destroy is a behavior you can just drag in, and destroys that actor alone. It doesn't destroy the actor it's touching. It doesn't destroy an actor that it's looking at. It destroys that actor. So as soon as this thing gets fired, it's not inside of a rule or anything like that. So as soon as it comes into being, this timer is going to start running, and after 3 seconds, this thing should die. So instead of going right off the screen, it's probably going to go, I don't know, probably 3 seconds, 400 pixels, about 1200 pixels off the, yeah, we better set this for 2 instead, right? Let's see, so that makes it 800 pixels. That might make it off the screen, we'll see. And I want to put it on the right one as well. There we go. Well, let's see what happens here. All right. So we should see them destroy themselves right about there at the end of the thing. Yep. So they're not going to make it off the screen this time, and that's a good thing because we don't want them to stay on screen or stay in the game if we're not using them anymore. Once they're off the screen, basically we don't need them. So we can save some memory, we can save some processing power, all those kind of fun things by making sure we add in that timer whenever we're using any kind of projectile. So that's it for now, guys. Appreciate everything. We're going to have some more videos tomorrow, and have fun with this. Play with it a little bit. That's always the best way for you to learn things. That was Lupe.